Hey TSY, for this week's Torah by video I figured I'd start with probably one of the most popular video stories of the week about a boy named Zach who unfortunately developed osteosarcoma and died well before his time and survived by many of his family members. Just wrote lots and lots of songs, and there's this one song called Cloud. And there was something incredibly significant about that song that stuck with his mother, that stuck with the rest of his family. And because it was about clouds, I figured, since in this week's Parsha we talk about clouds, let's talk about them. So in this week's Torah portion, בהעלותך, you see this relationship with clouds from the people of Israel as they travel, and the clouds travel with them. And every place that they go, when the clouds depart, there's this connection where the people are going where the clouds go, and the clouds protect them by day, and they have a pillar of fire that protects them by night. And this relationship seems to be pretty awesome. It almost is like God bringing his amazing spiritual celestial representative to protect the people at all times during the day, which is awesome. And then, if you go back a couple books, and go all the way back to Sefer Shemos, and you look at Moshe Rabbeinu, Moshe, our leader Moses, he's approaching the Ohel Moed, this tent of meeting. And when he approaches the Ohel Moed, the tent of meeting, there's a following sentence, which is startling and seems to contradict the concept of our relationship with this cloud that protects us, where it says the following: that the cloud goes and covers this tent of meeting where Moshe is supposed to meet up with God, have some sort of amazing communication with Hashem, and once it covers it, Moshe can't go in. So now we have a little bit of a problem. What's the problem? Moshe Rabbeinu is supposed to have a very strong relationship with God, and yet we have this cloud that's supposed to have a connection with us, protecting the Ohel Moed. So what does this all mean? What is the cloud supposed to be for us? Is it supposed to be our friend? Is it supposed to be the dividing line between our connection with God? Is it supposed to be our foe? What is the Anan, the cloud? So, going through a lot of the explanations, I found one very salient opinion written by Dan Yitzchak Abarbanel, a 13th century Spanish Rav who really enjoyed explaining the Torah through many questions and several answer formats. And when he asked this question about the cloud, he said the following: see, Moshe Rabbeinu, he had such a strong relationship with God, but there's one thing that we should never forget, which is that when you see something beautiful and amazing and you long for it and you want to connect to it, just because you see it doesn't mean that you're connected just yet. And when it comes to Moshe Rabbeinu and he wants to go into the tent of meeting, all of the different sages say that the reason why he wasn't granted access was because God didn't call out to him. And if God didn't call out to him just yet, then he wasn't invited to enter. So although he had this cloud that was in place, that was inviting him in, that was saying, I have a relationship with the people of Israel, I have a relationship with you, I'm the cloud that protects you, that goes with you, if he doesn't hear the message from God that invites him in, we don't hear our messages from our daily living, from moment to moment, every step that we take, if we don't hear those messages, but we only see something that looks good, but we don't really know if it's drawing us in, we don't have access. And I think that Zach, when he wrote his song and he talked about the clouds taking him up, 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 he also was hinting, not necessarily to the Torah, but hinting to a very important message about existing in this world. We're in this world, in a place where we see beautiful sun, and we see lots of clarity and simcha and happiness, and what we can do for one another. But often we see a lot of confusion and the inability to understand why somebody would lose their life at such a young age. And I think that Zach was telling you there's a cloud. And this cloud, which I guess over there is a representative of God in the Torah, and for Zach, perhaps something else, has a relationship with you. But even though it does, it's still a cloud. You can't see clearly through it. You can't get past all of that mist. And what a person needs to listen for is not just the cloud that they see, because it has no message. The message comes from the music that Zach conveyed, and when God called out to Moshe Rabbeinu, to Moses our leader. So it's our imperative to listen for God's messages and to make sure that we don't miss them, because they happen all the time.